as well. So we showed you that Randy Shannon is going to finish out this year here leading the Gators, but obviously a lot of speculation is already beginning about the possible replacements. These are just some of the names that are out there. Who do you think would fit in Gainesville?
Well, I think Matt Campbell could be an intriguing name based on the success he's currently having there in Iowa State. Scott Frost, right in state. I think he's gaining a lot of momentum just from the recruiting standpoint in the state of Florida. We know about Chip Kelly, know about Lane Kiffin. That could be an intriguing name. Luke Campbell has already endorsed Lane Kiffin to Gainesville. Chip Kelly still has that college mystique about him as far as coaching. But I believe Dan Mullen is the guy. Already having ties there in Gainesville. Remember, he was the OC when Urban Meyer was there when they were winning championships. He had a great relationship with then Tim Tebow. We know Tim Tebow is still well-loved there in Gainesville and could be a great endorser for Dan Mullen. And get this, Dan Mullen and McElwain, they're represented by the same agent, Sexton. And Sexton stated yesterday he's not going to try to go get that $12 million that was the initial buyout for Jim McElwain. That's a bit confusing. Because as an agent, you're trying to get every dollar that your client is supposed to receive. But are there ulterior motives?
Potential conflict of interest.
And declining to try to get that $12 million, because we know about Dan Mullen, and I think he's reached his peak at Mississippi State when they had Dak Prescott, when they were competing for a potential West title. Now those days are gone. I think he can do far more at Florida compared to Mississippi State, because the ability to recruit in Gainesville and Mississippi State, you can't compare.
You certainly have all the resources at your fingertips there in Gainesville. You mentioned Luther Campbell and his tweet. Let's check this out. He says, if Lane Kiffin goes to the Gators, keep Randy Shannon as the DC at UF, who would win the SEC next year, that would be a illegal staff. Epic. I mean, so what do you think about, I mean, you touched on it. What do you think, though, about the reality of Lane Kiffin, a coach who gets a lot of hype and a lot of headlines, but when it comes to the bottom line of wins and losses and results, it's not really been there as a head coach?
Exactly, and I don't think Lane would be high on the boosters, in the AD's list based on what he's done as a head coach, especially in the SEC. Not too long ago, he was the head coach in Tennessee. We saw how that worked out. When you look at what he did at SC and then, of course, the Raiders and then Alabama, it seems to be, I think Lane is more ideal when you talk about a Power 5 opportunity. I see him more as an OC because I don't think he can handle that head coaching opportunity because the maturity factor. We just talked about Lane Kiffin last week, throwing tweets about Lamar Jackson, clearly when he is already a part of one university. You don't see,
he has a home.
Yeah, you don't see certain coaches having these type of antics be a part of who they are. So I don't think Lane would be high on their list. I know about his recruiting ability. He's doing a great job at FAU right now, but I don't think he would be high on their list.